All right. We still got a minute. Is that Buffalo?
Yeah, good.
Jacket for me.
What?
No jacket for me.
No jacket?
Just a sweater.
Jacket with the hoodie. It looks good, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm running out of options.
You didn't have a jacket last time.
Yeah.
You had a jacket on last time?
I did, yeah.
That's a good look right there. You look like Mark Eversley.
Oh, yeah.
That's Mark Eversley look.
Yeah.
A sweater and a dress shirt.
What I need is a budget from Alvin Williams.
Budget, you said?
Yeah. Do you remember when I told you that we were friends last show?
Yeah.
Will you wear this with me? Or?
No, I ain't wearing that shit, no. Stuff.
Paul, you want one of these? I text you about Halloween, you're like, no.
And he's already got a mustache.
I know. I mean, I don't know how this is going to look. How this is going to play out.
The Toronto Raptors blow out the Atlanta Hawks 139-109 as they move to 4-3 in their first 7 games. A tough 7-game stretch. Welcome inside Real Sports. We are live on YouTube and live here at Real Sports. I'm Randy Urban. My mustache is falling off. Paul Jones, Eric Smith, Alvin Williams.
That's why I'm not wearing one.
Well, you want to keep eating. That's why you're not wearing one. Eric, first time on the show. I'm going to give you the first question. Wait.
What took so long? That's my question.
Well, you know what? There's a big vetting process. This is not
You look
working
like the
out.
Lorax, by the way. I don't know if that's a reference you get, but anyways.
Yours actually looks really good.
It does look pretty good.
Yeah.
That is a duster, man. That is a legit duster.
Better than that wig you was wearing at the start of the game.
Hey, man.
Oh, you were wearing a wig in the pregame?
Hey, Jonesy, we'll have a conversation about that after that. Shucking and jiving. Shucking and jiving.
Dancing for the man, huh?
Eric, energy I thought was much better to start this game tonight. How do you grade it?
I mean, if we're looking for grades, I'm not used to giving out A's or getting A's, but I'd say an A, absolutely, because they came out of the gate with the required energy, and that's what Nick Nurse was talking about before the game. He said about the team in general, but I think, and I know Al and Jonesy were in there listening as well, specifically about Scotty. Wanted to see the energy, wanted to see him attacking more. Now, he did drop down a few threes to start the game, but then we saw him going to the tin. We saw the Raptors regularly, aggressively getting into the lane and then rewarding themselves with 40 free throws in the game. That's energy, that's aggressiveness, and I think it was on point, big time.
Scotty starting, running the one a little bit here tonight with Fred VanVleet. How did you assess his performance from that position when he did get a chance to initiate?
Scotty is Scotty, right? Like, he has that ability to create. Like, he's a facilitator at heart. Like, he likes to pass the ball. And it was interesting at the press conference that we were at, Jonesy and E, and
I wasn't either.
You hear that
You were working your other job for Open Gym.
Nick Nurse was saying that the three-point shot, but he wants him to attack. Last year, you wanted him to shoot more threes, right? And now it's like attack the rim. So don't forget who you are. Like, don't forget who you are. Nick is telling him you got to attack the paint. So as a young player, it's hard to find that balance at times, right? Like, the coach is telling me to shoot these threes. So I'm shooting threes. I go all summer to work on these threes. Now I'm gonna show I can shoot these threes during the game, but that's not exactly who you are, and that's not gonna bring our team what we need. So he's finding that balance. Today, the three-point was going in.
Yeah.
But I think it's important for Scotty to realize his true value and what makes him valuable is his size, attacking, facilitating, and that three, as Nick mentioned, finding that within the offense.
Yeah, and it's only really going to open up all those other parts of his game, which he can exploit, Joyce. But when you look at his shooting mechanics, I watched Rico Hines before the game, warming up with him, and he's talking about that rotation and the release point for Scotty, and it's looking really nice right now. Where do you think realistically his percentages from that part of the floor can be?
I think he's going to get good looks from that part of the floor because, as Al just talked about, he's got all the other stuff. Like, if he sees a mismatch, some guys see a mismatch and they get excited and they rush. Scotty's like, oh, I got a mismatch? I'm just going to walk your backside down. We're going to score down there. I'm not going to rush because on the way down, if somebody comes, I'll pitch it out. And, I mean, he did that to LeBron at times last year.
Yeah.
So that shot will be there for him, and it will be a controlled shot that comes within the framework of the offense, on ball movement, or when he makes his move and they back off and fear him. You saw it today. He had lots of time to tee those things up.
Yeah.
As for the release point, over at OVO, they got the NOAA board and just from the simple eye test, the way I teach shooting and the way I was taught, he's got everything going. He's got a great base. He's got lift in his shot. When he's done, his elbow is higher than his eyebrow. He's holding the follow through. So before you quantify all those things, it's all the things we were taught when you went to basketball camp, how to be a good shooter. And he's knocking shots down. And now he's becoming confident. It's like, oh, you're going to give me this? You don't think I can make this?
Yeah.
And he makes what? He made 5 tonight.
Yeah.
5 of 9.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, well, he's 11 for 21 on the season so far. I know it's early.
You had mentioned something, right? Like percentage.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get, and I'm an old head, right? We're old heads. Don't get so wrapped up in percentages. Like people, like they get wrapped up in the numbers. Just by him being a threat, right? Him being a threat where the offense can run the way Nick and the coaching staff sees it run, like how they wanted to run. Him being a threat to space out a bit, taking in different opportunities. But at the end of the day, him being able to take the shot, and you take enough, you're going to make enough, right? But just him being a threat is important enough just as him making those shots as well.
That's what Nick was saying tonight that he was concerned about on the other side, right? He was saying we got to be worried about Murray and Young, and if we throw 2 bodies, then it's Collins and pick and pop and everything else. But Toronto's getting to that point where, to Al's point, if Scotty's making those shots, we know that Gary Trent is, we know that Fred is more often than not. Now Siakam, as well as he shot the ball. Suddenly now, who are you going to double team? If you're an opposing team and you're looking at Toronto, if you throw 2 bodies at Scotty, well, somebody else is going to be open. You're going to take your chances then with throwing nobody at Fred or Pascal, obviously, or Gary
it's
Trent,
worse,
right?
Because now, as Al was talking about getting into the paint, Pascal's been living in the paint.
Yeah.
He's making plays in the paint. If not, he's leaning on guys and scoring down there. And like I said, when he gets into the paint and he's kicking it out, that's a practice shot that that guy's taking.
Yep.
Feet set, hands ready, catch and shoot. But the other end of the floor tonight, I thought Scotty and those guys did a terrific. Trae Young he made 3 shots all night.
I want to get into the defense in a little bit. First, we do have a guest question coming in. This is how do you guys remember Nick the intern? Nick is welcoming Anna.
Yes.
Anna, here you go. Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
You
Nice
got a
to see
question
you guys.
for the guys.
Great costume, by the way.
Yeah. What are you?
Well, who wants to take a guess? What do you guys think I am?
Matador.
Greatest showman.
That's right.
Hey,
That's the one.
come on. It's because Paul hasn't seen a movie in 30 years.
No. Last movie I saw was New Jack City.
She's not playing in New Jack City.
No, I'm not.
No, you wasn't
I'm all
playing.
for Toronto. So I noticed that Pascal was actually simply amazing tonight.
Yeah.
He has been playing out of his mind so far this season. What do you guys think of him actually going from a role player to one of the star players right now, if not possibly the leader of his team?
Yeah, his journey's crazy. Great question.
I think he's unquestionably one of the leaders, and his role is to be a leader on this team. I mean, he said at the beginning of the year at Media Day, I want to be considered a top 5 player in this league.
Yep.
He's well on his way after the first 7 games.
Well, I don't know if I heard it any other. I mean, there's only been a few home games, but I don't know if I heard any other game so far. But tonight I heard the MVP chants in the 4th quarter.
Oh, no way.
And those are legit. Like, I mean, we're only 2 weeks into the season.
I gotta say, legit cheese and crackers. Like,
Hey,
it's only
2 weeks into the season, but somebody's got to be the early leader, right, on the leaderboard and whatever else.
MVP for you too.
Well, hey, I'll take it. Does it come with a raise? Either way, he's in that conversation, right? He's among the best players in the game right now.
Yeah.
So, got to keep it going, though.
That's a crazy journey, right, though, to come from where
it's the evolution of a player, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got a lot of players that started out like a Pascal, but then a lot of players, they tail off. He's somebody who started playing basketball late in his life considerably. Like, I know being born in Philadelphia, we were out there since we got off the bottle. Like, we were out there playing. For him to do the things that he's done and doing that at this stage of his career is remarkable. And he's only going to get better because he still has a lot of room to grow. But what he's doing now is just showing that I'm ready to take a team to the next level. And when you talk about top 5, that's going to come with winning, like team success.
Yeah.
The top 5, Hall of Fame, all those conversations, All-Star, that happens with team success,
if
right?
you're not winning, it's not happening. Yeah.
And it's working. Like, he's won a championship. He's done all of these
He's
things.
definitely confident.
Right,
You can see his confidence going through
Oh,
the-
yeah.
And it happens. And you know what? Now the next phase for an NBA player, when you start getting respect from your opponents, the referees, the league, everyone's giving you that respect, the whistle, all of those things. So when you go into the postseason, when you have one or two players that's getting that respect, you always talk about it. Those players, they dominate the postseason because they're going to get the benefit of the whistle. They're going to get those opportunities. So he's putting himself in a great position to be exactly what he's aspiring to be, top 5.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you
question.
for that.
Thank you so much,
That was
guys.
awesome.
Thank you.
That was
Bob,
awesome.
New Jack City.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that. All right. Thank
Greatest
you.
showman.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Nick. Good job. All right.
One's going to go home and watch it now. Great.
I got another one real quick from this one's coming in online as they're watching from Feng Lin. Do you guys think we could keep seeing Scotty at point guard and have Fred play a little off the ball at the 2?
I definitely think so. Although I think you can't take away Fred's decision making from him too with the ball
for sure.
because he's a great playmaker too. But I mean, Al, you played the point. You know how hard it is to strike that balance between getting yours and keeping your teammates happy. I mean, a lot of point guards just give the ball up early. They just get others involved, and they'll look for theirs later on. Steve Nash was terrific at that. Gave it up. Then he sat down the second quarter when he came in, and he was in with some bench guys. He'd keep them involved, but that was the time he'd get some of his. And there's nothing worse than your point guard coming down and shooting the ball and nobody else touching it. Right? And Toronto doesn't do that. So to have Scotty do it sometimes, to have Fred do it sometimes.
That's you? That's your position?
Ripping a page out of the Randy Urban book.
That's point guard in name only. That's a new wave point guard that comes down and says, "Oh, I got the ball. I'll do whatever I want with it."
I don't
And to
shoot
your
to
point,
miss.
the point guard today is totally different than our time,
Yes,
right? It was
sure.
like,
Yeah.
it was the quarterback. It was an extension of the coach. Everyone has to get involved. E's struggling. Let me get E involved. Jonesy's hot. Let me keep Jonesy hot. So it's one of those things. So when you talk about a point guard, and I think the uniqueness of a Fred VanVleet is he can score, but he does have the mentality to settle everything down. So without that, if you don't have that experience and that veteran leadership and that experience, you're going to be missing something. And you can play him off the ball. So I think you have to just have like an influx, or you have to, not an influx, but you have to have like a combination of how you're going to put these lineups together, how you're going to put the schemes together, because you have a unique team when you have those two people in the lineup.
You know, the interesting thing too, and I always find that just the social dynamic of a team, especially a good team or a team that's trying to be good, trying to be great, trying to be better. You think about, what did we just talk about 5 minutes ago? Pascal Siakam wants to be a top 5 player in the game, and is he an MVP type candidate? OG Anunoby says in the last 24, 36 hours, I want to be all defensive team. I want to be among the best defenders in the league. Fred VanVleet was an all-star last year and certainly wants to be another all-star, multi-time all-star. Scotty Barnes is the rookie of the year, wants to be an all-star, wants to be an MVP one day, I'm sure. Gary Trent wants to take another step in his career. Siakam wants to be all NBA again, all this stuff. Well, how are you going to achieve all those individual goals? Maybe you take a step back individually because the team then can take a step forward together, and you maybe take a knock in terms of your stats, in terms of your individual glory.
That
or
sounds good.
No. Or it comes as a result of you being so good that everybody gets a slice of the pie.
Gotta win.
Exactly.
Gotta win. When you win, everybody looks
Right.
better. And we talked about, we know guys in the NBA that, man, they look good on a team that they're winning, and then they go to another team, and the other team, like they might bid for them in free agency or trade for them.
Yep.
Then the guy gets there, it's like, what happened to that guy that was on the other team?
Right.
Well, he was part of winning. He was part of a system. He looked good.
Yep.
I mean, but you're right, though, to your point, E, that's the way to have
Well,
the
think
success.
about Atlanta, right? Just how many years ago with 4 guys, the Pistons with 4 guys. It's a product of what we're talking about, right? If everybody comes together as a good team, everybody can still get fed.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's hard to compare like those teams to like today's NBA because the teams are built differently. Teams are built a little differently. But when you talk about the individual goals, you're 100% right. You're not going to achieve anything individually unless your team performs. And I think once you find that balance and once you find that mindset, like everything that I'm trying to achieve individually, it doesn't interfere with the team. Like I like OG saying I want to be defensive player of the year because more than anything, that's setting a tone for everyone else.
Right.
Right? Because that's something that if I say I want to be Defensive Player of the Year, you'll be like, yo, I can be, like, I want to be that as well. Everybody can't be top 5 or the MVP of the league. Like, you don't have those opportunities. Everybody has an opportunity on the defensive side to be that person if you play enough minutes. Yeah. So OG even taking that stance that says a lot.
Well, 6 steals tonight. He was fantastic. But getting back to the game specifically, how did they create that separation there in the third quarter? Just defensively?
Yeah, I thought that was it. They had a run at the end of the third quarter, and it came from their defense. Turning Atlanta over, getting out in transition. I mean, there was one on a rebound where Scottie took the ball and he took the rebound down and turned midair and outletted the ball up the middle of the court.
Yep.
And it took one bounce and it was in somebody's hand at midcourt. And he
skill.
did all that before
Yeah.
he even hit the ground. And then it was a 3-on-1. 4 guys touched the ball. There was maybe one dribble, and the 4th guy got a layup out of it.
Well, no, and actually, to follow up on that, Jonesy, the best part of that was it was an outlet to Pascal, who gave it up to Gary, who missed the layup in a lot of traffic, but Pascal
got it
followed the
back.
play and got the putback plus the foul and went to the line.
I say this, man, like, I don't, X's and O's and all that stuff, like, you can get some. The thing about, I feel, Nick Nurse, and I've watched him since he took over the head coaching job, his team performs for him.
They play hard.
They play hard, they buy in, and that is the hardest job for a professional coach on any sport, to have those guys that's getting paid all the money, that's used to coming from now in this generation, that everything's been, I won't say give it to them, but the discipline and the instruction and just that relationship is not the same as it used to be back in the day. For him to do what he does and for his team to play the way that they play, that speaks volumes of him as not just a coach, but as a person.
How do you think he can do that? Like, what are the ingredients that he's putting out there that are making them listen to him?
Well, first, I think it's the people you draft and the people you bring apart into it, like their character and all of those things. But it's an everyday thing, and it's your staff.
Yeah.
Because I know back in the day, like, a coach may be pissed off at you, and then you have someone come up to you and say, hey, don't worry, assistant coach or whatever the case may be. But it's everybody working like cohesively for them to be in a situation where they will buy in. I've seen an NBA team, they press, they go to triangle and 2, they go box and 1, they zone, they trap, and no player I don't see never put the effort into it. Like, they believe in it. And that's something when you talk about a coach, and if Nick Nurse was to get fired today, another team will want him tomorrow because he gets the guys involved, and his staff does, and also the players that they draft or bring along and acquisitions and all that. But it's something that you see how this Raptors team play for times to be.
Is it your birthday?
Yeah, it is.
Somebody, they're singing for you.
It's my birthday today.
Is it?
Yeah. I thought we were friends. You told me you didn't know. Hey, Jones, you didn't tell me we was friends last time?
No. It's not
You
your
said,
birthday.
in Philly we were friends, and
Something
now
about
here,
the playground in
yeah, you
Philly.
don't even know my birthday.
Oh, that
Ain't that a blip?
I'll look it up on Wikipedia.
Turning real red over there.
It's wrong. Wikipedia's
When's
wrong.
my birthday?
Wikipedia.
so smart.
It's Wikipedia.
Boucher, 11 tonight. If you get 10 every night, I want to see a few more rebounds, but if you get 10 points from Boucher every night, that is going to go a long way to
We
the
had him on the
success of this
post-game radio interview.
Yeah.
And we asked him about that. He said, "Hey man, I come off the bench and like there's limited minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't have time to ease into it when I'm out there, man.
Right.
Let's get cooking right away. 11 points, 3 rebounds, the energy. He's part of what Al talks about. When you have a guy on the floor playing that hard, if you're on the floor, there's no way you can look at that and say, well, I'm not doing that. It's infectious.
Right.
It's contagious. Everybody wants to play that hard. And so Chris he's perfect in that role off the bench. I'm sure he'd rather start but he knows, he said it to us, I want to be a star in my role. And right now he's doing that.
Yeah, that's a great point. And you've seen this, Eric, from last season to this season, but there is still something different about his game this year in his shot selection and the confidence in which he is taking the shot, because they're not always that open, and he's just playing with a little bit more, gumption.
You know, I think what it is too is, and we talked to him, Jones and I, just a couple weeks ago. One of the things he said last year, I think, and I'm paraphrasing it, but he was pressing. He was pressing too much last year. And whether it's him playing outside his comfort zone, whatever it may be, I think he has settled into knowing what he is, knowing what his role is, knowing what he can be for this team. Like you guys just talked about, that energy, that spurt off the bench, whether it's doing his job as a defender, doing his job as a rebounder, and then everything else comes from there, and not pushing it too much. And I think that just, to me, coincides with the maturity as a person, let alone as a player, settling into that role and recognizing what you are, and it's all coming from there. That to me is what I see mostly from him.
Yeah.
One last point out was with Chris, like the three, at least for me, I was sitting at home. I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to eat. It's not a cake. It's not. You got me nachos. It's not a cake. You're going to give me nachos?
Put a candle in it at least for me.
Cheese. But the thing with Chris, right?
A hamburger.
I think cheeseburger. I think you think about Tampa, right? For me, I was sitting at home. I don't know about you guys. He's hitting threes like crazy. I'm like, yo, when this dude, the thing flicking and all that. So he steps to the next season. That shot is not going in. It's not going in.
But he wanted it to go in and kept taking it. Like, wait a
taking
minute, this worked last year.
Yeah, it worked last year, but guess what? Everybody got filmed this year, and now it's a different game. But guess what? And I remember him getting benched, not playing. Came back as the energy guy that he was prior to that, right? And then he was like, oh, so now he knows how, we talked about Scotty before. It's a balance, figuring out who you are and what people want you to be, right? He wanted to be something else. That three-pointer looked good in Tampa, but now it's not going in, but now I can't play because it's not going in. He says, I'm going to be this player. I'm going to be the energy guy. I'm going to get extra possessions. And then guess what? I can pick and pop.
Exactly,
So,
the three start coming.
Early in the season. So he's figured out a healthy balance to how to be, and I talk around the NBA, everyone loves this dude. That's still he got today where they trapped Trae Young on the sideline, and he threw it over top. He went over, he deflected it, got the steal, and he flew two-hand dunk. Like those type of plays, not many players are making in the NBA. I don't care who you are, they don't have the energy, they don't have the they don't react like that. And then he has the three-point shot as well. So he's found, I'm happy for him because he's found who he can be. And you don't have to be stuck in that role. You can always expand and grow outside your role, and that's what he's doing.
I want to just ask one more quick question about the defense because I thought that was really important. Just what they did on Trae Young. 3 of 13. They took away his scoring. How do you do that?
You know what? I thought, Nate McMillan, Eric, Al, and I were in the room. And Nate
McMillan. All of
McMillan.
these places. I'm not there.
You're too busy working, man. You're hustling.
You're too busy working your other job for Open Gym. He talked about the Raptors and their defensive scheme and what they roll out. They roll out your basic man-to-man. They roll out a 1-2-2 full court press, a 2-3 zone, a 3-2 zone. They've got a box and one, triangle and two. They've got a combo zone that starts as a zone and at some point it goes back to a man-to-man in the middle of the play. He's talking about all these things that the Raptors do, and he said, it made Alvin and I laughed. He said at one point, see, you can take the numbers off the front. All the cats look the same. They're all 6'8", 6'9", and they put their arms out, and you don't know, you can't see nothing. You don't know who's who.
Right.
And that's what happened to Trae Young today. He squares up. He's looking at Scotty Barnes, and that for a guy who's 6'1" to look at a guy 6'9", that's 50 pounds heavier than you, that can move laterally, you're like, man. All right, so you work hard. No, you know what? Come and screen this cat. Get him off me. Turn the corner. Oh, there's Chris Boucher. Oh, come and screen this cat. Get him off me. Turn the corner. Oh, there's Precious Achiuwa. And that's what it was. I think DeJounte Murray handling the ball takes it away from Trae a bit, which is a good thing because as we talked about, it's good to be off the ball and move without the ball. Although I don't think Trae does that as well as he could, and he'll probably get better at it. But when he had the ball, the Raptors were that's a five-man job, and all five guys were ready.
And the Hawks, they thrive off of him optically.
Right.
They are a better team, and it showed that the past two games that I've watched, they're a better team with DeJounte Murray in there facilitating, and everyone else is engaged. Hunter's engaged, Collins engaged. They're all engaged. And the one thing the Raptors did a good job at, it was at one point where Matt Devlin said that he has a career high of field goal attempts at 24. The Raptors had him going into the fourth quarter with 12. So they limited all his shot attempts, right? And they could say they're on a 5-game road trip. I mean, this is the fourth and like fatigue. But playing against that, to Jonesy's point, playing against that length, all that, man, is no replacement for that. That's why the Raptors are a unique team.
And even if you beat that length on one trip,
You're not doing it multiple
yeah,
trips.
you got to do it every time.
And
man.
just imagine with Koloko in there now, like you beating the floater, like this guy's flying around blocking, like it's a tough output, and it could be just one. At some point, you get into a team where you just don't feel it. Like you're like, this is a tough team. I have to figure it out. He's the type of player that can, but you have to be really deliberate.
Let's loosen up here a little bit for.
Loosen up?
No, not
Loosen
loosen
up.
up.
Oh.
Take my tie off.
You can take your tie off, sure. On Saturday, the Raptors had a Halloween party. I will say, the four of us, we didn't Halloween very well. Okay, I talked to Eric today. I was like, bring a mustache. He's like, no. Josie was like, no.
I already got one, man. What do you want me to do?
Don't do that. Don't do the four of us. I'll just put the mustache on for you, dog.
I know you did.
You're over here talking about we're friends.
I know.
And then when I asked you when my birthday was, you didn't even know my birthday.
We'll get there. Friends are transitioning like it takes time.
Now it's friends on your term. Because Jonesy, last show we were friends, right?
Yeah.
In Philadelphia,
in
the planet,
Philly.
we're friends. Now we're
Killer
transitioning.
people, yeah.
You know what? I quit you, dog. I quit you.
You're gonna quit me that early?
You just said it's transition, and I stopped.
Two shows and you out?
I quit him.
Oh.
I don't quit my boy, Jonesy. We go way back. We go way back.
So we're gonna do like the Nets say we need a new coach.
These are the costumes that they had. This is Masai and Ramatu. Next up was
Coming to America.
Coming to America. It's a great costume. Wancho. Not sure what he's being there. Does anyone know what
Terminator,
that is?
dog.
Top Gun?
I don't know.
No, isn't that Matrix? Yeah, that's
We're
like
trying to guess who
it's
won.
like Neo or something.
Trying to guess who won. So take these in and then tell me. Scotty is a
He looked like he part of the
construction
YMCA.
worker. Next.
What's that group called, Jonesy?
Village people.
Village people, yeah.
YMCA, baby.
All right, next. What do we got? Okay.
Oh, 50.
It's your
Pascal,
birthday.
yes,
It's
yeah.
your birthday.
We
We're
gonna
gonna party
party
like it's your
Why you
birthday.
tapping me, dog? Why you tapping me?
Next.
We're not friends.
Anybody know who that is?
I know because I had inside information.
Who was it?
That's Chris Boucher.
Slim Duck. All right, that's a good. What is he? Is he?
No, he likes
No, he looks like
Crazy.
a black version of Jason. Like Friday the 13th.
So who do you guys think won? Who do you think won the competition, Eric?
We didn't see Nick Nurse, did we?
No, those are the only pictures I have. I don't know. Sorry.
Because I saw another one of Nick Nurse dressed up like Axl Rose.
Oh, really?
Oh,
That would have been a good one.
Pretty good. Of those ones, I might have to go with Masai.
Sai?
I would go with Masai and 50
You
Cent a
guys-
close second.
You guys are, you know what?
What?
You think he's gonna fire you?
No, but that's
You
one of the
don't know-
last
you-
movies I saw.
You never watched Coming to America.
What do you mean? I never. Of course I did.
Tell me two lines in Coming to America.
I don't know. I've
yeah.
watched it like multiple times. I haven't
Never heard
watched
of
it.
McDowell's? McDonald's and what? McDonald's and what?
McDowell's.
You never watched it.
I
McDowell's.
watched it. I don't.
Golden
it was a long-
Arches, we got
it was
the
a long
golden
time
what?
ago. I'm old, Alvin. I am an old man.
You're older than me.
Just like
you
you.
trying to call
The
us
Jericho
company.
chemical on the back of the chair.
You trying to call us company, man,
Wait.
and you don't. Yeah.
Who
Guess
do you
what?
think won?
Masai.
Me too.
You better. You be the last person here.
All right. Well, I apologize for how we started and how we're finishing, but I feel like we can come back.
We always can come
I
back.
feel like we can come back from this.
Yeah, we should.
All right.
You hurt me, but
Yeah.
emotionally, I'll
Will
put a
you
Band-Aid on it.
Will you do the show again?
With who?
With us.
Jonesy and E, and with Sherman, you know what I mean? But
We'll get intern Nick to host.
We got to talk, bro.
Eric, you gonna come on again?
I'll be here anytime you want me,
Thanks
brother.
for doing that. See what I'm talking about?
I'm
Jones,
contractually bound.
You have to be
yeah,
here.
I'm contractually bound.
Don't pretend you don't like it. All right, let's finish up.
You and I
there.
got
I'll need to eat some food next
You
time.
and I got
though.
to talk.
I know.
I'm not eating this.
Can I?
I had it on Friday. I'm not
Want to
going
go out? Like we can go get some food or some. No?
I'm going back to Philadelphia tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe another
Unfortunately.
time. All right. Next game for the Raptors goes Wednesday night in San Antonio against the Spurs. Tip-off is 8 p.m. Eastern. You can catch the recap, the Raptors tonight, on. We're doing it on Zoom.
Virtual. Yeah, Zoom.
We don't have the food, but we bring the energy. And we'll be doing this show every home game right here at Real Sports. Come join us.
Maybe I can get in the Halloween
Yeah,
bag
take
for the
some of that.
virtual.
I think it's a bowl for each guy or something here.
All right,
Somebody better eat these.
We will see you next time. Thanks for watching.